Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
As an introduction to your audience, my name is Aubrey Page, and I'm the CEO of the Change Starts Here Collaborative. And we partner with parents and professionals working with kids with brain-based disabilities to help just empower families to feel more successful at home. I started out as an educator for fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, which is the most common form of developmental disabilities. A study in 2018 found out that it affects 5% of the population, which makes it 2.5 times as common as autism. But we don't have conversations about it because of the stigma, which is why we're having this conversation, right? So we have this cultural undertone happening in America, and especially exacerbated by the pandemic right now, where the coping strategy, one of the only coping strategies moms get is drinking. And I know that you have been very open about your recovery journey and how it has helped you see all of that from a different perspective. So I was hoping you could kind of shed a light on it for those of us who may not be able to see like kind of the messages that we get as women that drinking is the answer.
Yeah, I was just, and this is something that someone gave to my attention, and it's so true that during this pandemic, alcohol is the only industry who has made any effort to connect with mothers right now. And that, I mean, it's like a punch in the gut when I heard that, but it's so true. I mean, the government isn't trying to do anything right now. The community, the school system is floundering as it is, trying to figure out what to do.
Right.
And everything got put on mothers. It feels like.
Yeah.
And statistically, it's true. Right. Everything got pushed down on the mental load of mothers and said, you guys need to figure this out. And we have found, for the most part, statistically speaking, mothers have found a coping strategy through alcohol,
right,
which, as we all know, is a short-term coping strategy, and long-term has extremely dangerous implications, including addiction, including health problems, and even death. And the part that really gets to me as an adult child of an alcoholic, our children watch us use alcohol as a coping strategy, and they learn that during times of crisis, alcohol is our friend. And we just don't know what we don't know. So as our children are watching how we are coping, and we all know that mom sets the tone at home.
Yes.
When mom's struggling, when mom isn't showing her children healthy coping strategies, she can't be her best self. She can't thrive during crisis. And that's where I feel like it's the most dangerous part of all this. Is we need mom healthy right now more than ever. We need mom coping in healthy ways, and showing our children how to cope during times of crisis, because they're going to go through something too. All going to experience crisis. How do we show our kids what to do when times get hard? So that's where I feel like this conversation really needs to be had, because the only people who have found, like, wow, this is a great time to connect with mothers, has been alcohol, has been industry, in ads, in marketing. There was a Tropicana ad that went out in December talking about the mimosa and how mothers specifically, can get away from all the problems and challenges of life by hiding in her closet and sneaking in alcohol. And it was terrifying. For anyone who is in the recovery community, I think we all got triggered, because most of us have been in the closet drinking to survive motherhood in some way, shape, or form. So it struck a little too close to home. And for people who do not have alcoholic tendencies or who are still in the early stages to see that and to think, what a fun idea, or isn't that funny, or
Right.
let's share that. It turns it from, this is so funny, ha ha ha, this is cute, to maybe drinking in secret's not such a bad thing.
Right. What a great idea.
Yeah. Why didn't I think of that? And obviously, okay, because Molly Sims does it, you know, obviously.
Yeah, right.
Tropicana is the orange juice my family uses anyway. So why don't I just add booze to it? And maybe that'll make this whole, these days that have been so challenging for me, maybe it will make it a little easier.
Right. It does feel it, and that, so this month and on my page, we focused on resiliency in parents because it is exhausting. And right now you don't get a break. Like they're with you all the time. And I went from sending my kids to school to now we're homeschooling because that was the best option for us.
Yeah.
And so it is finding ways to cope in a healthy way are incredibly difficult. And so often we get this, like, you know, go get a pedicure, which we can't do, or like other superficial things that don't fix the deeper stuff. So I was a foster parent. That's how I came to parenthood. And I did not drink until I was 21, goody two shoes. And I still only drank socially 1, maybe 2 drinks. I got drunk for the first time after I started parenting because it's hard. And because when you're parenting a kid from trauma, or you experience trauma yourself, or both, all of those feelings come up. And so you think, I don't know how to handle this, so I will. So that's why this month we were talking about different ways, and we did a course on self-care. And the course on self-care isn't how to give yourself a pedicure, but how to set boundaries for yourself and deal with all your stuff that's deep down inside that is making you not feel good on a daily basis, because that's the kind of stuff that benefits your kids moving forward, right? As you're pointing out, drinking is not something that our kids are gonna, like, they're gonna just take that and put it in their pocket and really succeed as adults with that information. So showing them other ways of handling it and being really open about that too, which I love. You guys in the recovery community that I keep following more and more people, y'all are so open about your experiences and what it was like for you before, which I think is really helpful for other women who are now experiencing that to say, okay, that's me now. Mm-hmm. And so maybe I need help. And you have options for how women can get help. Can you tell us about your Sober Mom Squad?
Yeah. So when the pandemic first hit, I was getting so many DMs, and mothers specifically were saying, oh my God, like the whole world just crashed on me. Yeah. Now the kids are home 24/7. And now I'm supposed to learn how to homeschool or distance learn with my children, and work from home at the same time for some of them. And they're like, what do I do? Like, drinking has become daily. Excuse me. And then we see the encouragement from the memes saying, you know, have a quarantini. Mm-hmm. Or all of a sudden, you know, 5 o'clock somewhere just turned to anytime, anywhere. And it really was really triggering for so many people. And it led to, from back in May, I haven't seen the stats since May, but in May, they said online alcohol sales increased by 257%.
Oh, great. Excellent.
Yeah. So people were turning to alcohol, clearly. Right. So a lot of people were saying, what do I do? Can you help me? And I was feeling it too. Like, I was definitely feeling triggered for the first time in that capacity, as a sober mom. And when I felt it, I saw a friend of mine, an Instagram friend of mine, she posted that she was hearing this and feeling this too. What can we do about it? And me and these 4 other women from the Instagram community got together and started the Sober Mom Squad. And we started meeting weekly, this free online Zoom call for an hour, where we just talked about motherhood, and anyone who identified as a mom and had a toxic relationship to alcohol was welcome. You could be sober, you could be struggling, you you could be 10 years in recovery. It didn't matter. Anyone was welcome. And it just exploded because there was not a resource like that. There was no free resource available that was 100% virtual, that allowed mothers this opportunity to connect. And we just kept going. Each week we kept going. Our numbers kept growing. And then at the end of the summer, we were like, okay, our kids are going back to school now. Probably to just dismantle this whole thing. But little did we know. And our members all said, no, please don't dismantle it. We want more. We want more meetings. We want more options. We want more availability. So we turned it into a membership opportunity with 3 meetings a day, master webinars from experts, and a forum off of social media. And we kept the free meeting, so that's available each week. And it's been a lifeline for so many. And I love seeing the women who started with us back in March, seeing them grow.
Yeah.
You forget how hard the first few days are, the first few weeks are, the first few months are. But watching these women start on their day ones and say, I think I can do this, or I'm really struggling, and growing with them has just been such a monumental thing. I think when I 5 years ago, I wrote a blog post about how I'm so disappointed that I never wound up in a profession that's going to help people. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a doctor. I'm not doing anything to help anybody. And how, I was a marketing professional. I was helping businesses make money, basically. And I reread that post a couple months ago, and I was like, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
I'm helping other moms who have a toxic relationship to alcohol, and it feels so incredible. And you don't have to have a doctorate. You don't have to be a teacher or a medical professional. If you have a story and you're willing to share it, we can help each other get through hard things. And I think that's powerful.
So we did not talk about this, but you're blowing my mind on a couple ways. So I actually have worked in PR also, and I was also disappointed that I had nothing that I was contributing. How am I going to change the world, right? And then I started parenting, and then I noticed that in foster care, when you're parenting other kids, I'm like, okay, why is that family struggling so much? Oh, they have the same disability my kid has. Oh, they have the same disability. So I was like, where is the resources for these kids and families? Like, there's nothing out there for them. And so I started creating resources. And when the pandemic started, I started a support group for actually all parents, because we were all struggling. Doesn't matter if your kid had a disability or not. But it's kind of morphed into a support group for parents of kids with a disability. And the same thing is seeing families like, oh, now I know how to respond in this situation where I wouldn't have before, all of that. So there's more mirroring in our lives than I knew before. But yes, that's been the struggle. I feel like we have done pretty well during the pandemic, but I still want to lay in bed and cry all day. It's like that's doing well under these circumstances. So I'm so glad that you can offer that opportunity for other people to learn about it. When numbers were going up for drinking, I posted a fact the other day from a study that found that alcohol consumption in women has increased 41% since the pandemic started. And then of course there's been a lot of these quarantine babies that everyone's talking about. And so for me, as my focus of study, I'm very concerned with this major increase in drinking and then the major increase in having babies, because those two things aren't safe. Even small amounts of alcohol before a woman knows she's pregnant can be dangerous, which is kind of not even our doctors don't tell us that. So, but the studies are coming out more and more now. So we as a community are like, how do we help prevent this? And the answer is not, we go and just shame women for making a choice or not making a choice, because 9 times out of 10, they didn't even know they were pregnant. it's to help heal. And that's what you guys are doing. You guys are going alongside, giving them the tools and helping them heal, so that they can make that. We can't just yell at women and tell them don't drink during pregnancy without giving them tools to do that.
Right.
So I really love what you guys are doing and your approach and vulnerability with it, because it's a tough topic. It's a tough topic.
Well, and I think for our parents' generations, for the most part, it was an unspoken topic. You didn't
Yeah.
talk about your struggles or addictions. There was a anonymous meeting for that you could go to, but don't bother the normal people with it. And I want to change that, because I'm a normal person too. I just have a toxic relationship with alcohol, and there's no shame in that.
Yeah.
Alcohol is an addictive substance. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
in our brain chemistry, it's meant to be addictive. So that's where I want to spread more awareness, that there's no shame in being addicted to an addictive substance. And if we share our stories, we'll realize just how normal we all are, and there's power in our stories. So let's keep talking to each other and helping people realize that they're not alone. And I think we'll change the world.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, thank you for letting me share you with my community and vice versa. I know that we'll keep staying connected, and thank you so much.
Thank you. This was great.
Bye.
Bye.